gonna be part two of that last video. It got cut, battery time was low. So basically you have to start looking into alternative ways of catching your water. And so what we have done that has worked successfully, we've caught water, right? You just get a big container, or several of them, and catch rainwater, especially in an emergency like Flint. Catch natural rainwater and use it for cleaning the floors, washing dishes. You know, you can boil it and use it for other things. And you'll find that you probably aren't going to have any issues, any health issues with that. And it's going to be to a degree purer than having lead and other type of metals and chlorine and fluoride and all type of things running through your pipes. Another thing that you can do is look into the herbs and the spices, because a lot of them offer chelation therapy. Cilantro is supposed to be one good herb that can take lead out of your water, and that's something that you probably want to eat every day or regularly. Just eat it like, a topping on your rice or your food. Eat it as a salad. They have salad, I think it's called tabbouleh, and normally made out of parsley, but I think you can make one, just like with cilantro instead. And in a way, cilantro and parsley, they're kind of related and kind of get mixed up. So you can make a cilantro salad. Holy basil is supposed to be good at removing fluoride. It might also be good at removing lead. So with that, you're supposed to put it in like a mesh strainer and leave it in your water for maybe a few hours. You're going to want to do some research on this, because I'm just naming stuff off the top of my head that I'm aware of. Another thing that is supposed to be an ancient practice is to put your water into a copper jar and leave it in there for 24 hours. If you don't have a copper jar, you got a lot of copper jewelry around, you can probably put that in there. And that's another thing. A lot of people think, it's just Flint and it's just the water that lead. There's a lot of things that you're being exposed to with the lead. You're being exposed to lead with old paint, a lot of the do-it-yourself home businesses that a lot of the sisters are doing. Some of you are being exposed to lead doing that, buying toys for your children from the dollar store, just being a consumer overall. You're already being exposed to lead. So you want to limit your consumption of material goods. You want to limit your consumption of just anything that is not really natural. You want to go back to a more natural way of living, hence catching rainwater, hence digging your own well. And that's another thing. Look into the pumps. You can get hand pumps, and dig your own well. You can find water in some places as low as close as 4 feet below the ground. You could dig these with a fence post and some simple PVC piping. You might spend about $150 on the pump. But once you have your pump installed, that's water that's coming from your own source. And if you're going to do any testing at all, you should be test the water where that you're getting water from that is beneath your feet, as opposed to testing water that's coming from the pipes that you know is poison. And that these testers are probably going to give you false readings based on their acceptable level of poisoning, whatever it may be, lead or fluoride or chlorine. So, look into digging your own well. That is what a lot of these other people are doing that don't live in these cities, and that might be another thing. Some of you might just have to go. Stop being so attached to where you live. You're living in the slums, and that's, you're living where you're poor, and you're being taken advantage of. It's like, how much is it really worth? Is your life worth this house that's sitting, I know they want you out of there. But it's like, sometimes you got to really make a call, or if your family and you got a lot of family and everything, they don't want to leave. Okay, let them hold the place down for you until this shit is all cleared up. But in the meantime, it's like, do you really have to sit there and expose yourself to something that's so toxic that, you might not recover from and get back to your full state of consciousness? Because you're talking about calcifying the pineal gland and all that stuff for people who are into that this is can be playing a factor into. Another thing that the lead poisoning does, it causes or help infertility, help you to become infertile. So they're talking a lot about your children being affected for life mentally. But physically they're also being affected, and so are you. You're also physically becoming sterile the more and more that you just don't do anything about that. So check into the herbs, the chelation therapy, to get the lid. With that, you can check out chlorophyll, spirulina, and some people will recommend the wheatgrass and that, but the chlorophyll is supposed to be one of them that are really good for chelation therapy. So get you some herbs and make it like a permanent part of your diet, not just something that you're doing just because there's a scare of lead. And I guess talk to people around you, because something like a pump, you can put together with other neighbors or other people in your community who don't want to leave because they got this land. Okay, well, do something instead of just drinking these water bottles that you're not testing. And it's just making these water companies rich, which is another thing that no one is really talking about, just how much money these water companies are banking off of. And you better believe that there are white people out there like Martin Shkreli that are just buying stocks. So they're buying stocks, they're buying lots in your demise. They're getting rich off of celebrities, buying all these waters, and when it really amounts to one bottle per person, and it's like, what can you really do with that? They're getting rich, right? While you're sitting talking about, give me a tester. They're getting rich off the testers, they're getting rich off the filters. They're getting rich off your debt. So you need to start thinking about really preserving, or just maintaining yourself in a better way, thriving in a better way, that outside of the system they can't stop you, right? So you need to look into that if you're serious, if you're about that life. If not, I guess you could wait for them, wait to sue. Hope that the same court systems and everything that are backing these people, they're going to sue. Hope these investigations are going to lead to some money. And what you going to do with the money? Are you going to buy some new pipes? And when you buy new pipes and your pipes are still connected to the original, it's not going to make a difference. So it's like you have to be very nation building minded, and that's one of the benefits, obviously, of being with Black Supremacy and with King Noble, is that these things come up, and you find solutions and you deal with it. You don't wait for somebody else to come and be like, oh, well, here's a $1 bottle of water. Hope this changes your life. Well, it's not going to happen. You actually have to take the matters into your own hands. So meditate on that for a minute. Do a simple Google search if you must. Go